Next hand battery, made out of an old hot water cylinder. I've cut the top off, removed this section to make it a bit easier to get to the bottom of it. I've turned it upside down. I filled the bottom with postcrete to give it a non-combustible solid base. I then filled up to about here with a mixture of postcrete and perlite in an attempt to insulate it and stop the heat travelling downwards. That hasn't worked quite as well as I'd hoped. Then there's a layer of furnace blanket, refractory ceramic fibre, kaolin wool, and then we start the sand. And on the other side of a butchered immersion heater, I have two fat copper conductors going down into the sand naked, and on the end of that there's a Cantle element. It's about 8 ohms, and I'm running it off my Variac, and it's about 65 volts. So that's about 500 watts. I turned it on this morning, and what's that, 60-70 degrees on the outside. There's quite a lot of sand in there, probably 150 kilos of sand. I would show you inside, but it's just literally all you can see is a sand. And it takes quite a long time to get the lid back on. So I managed to joggle the bottom of the lid outwards with my little juggling flanging tool, and then the top of the base joggled inwards to try and create a step in the right direction, and I have managed to now. It takes a bit, but the lid does go on, and obviously there's an overlap here, so I don't know if I'll be putting the other section back in and adding more sand, or maybe some rock wool. I don't know, but I have that option. It's been running all day. Oh yes, and obviously this is one end of the primary, this is the other. So the idea is to blow cold air in here, goes through the coil, through the hot sand, comes out through this heat exchanger, which I'm hoping will allow me to heat water for a central heating system. And the idea is that I'll charge it up once I've tinkered with the element and got a good couple of kilowatts going in. I will charge it up on the Octopus Intelligent tariff at 7p a unit between 11 and 5, and hopefully use it to run the central heating and hot water for the house. The elements took a while actually. This is the Cantle Graveyard, and I thought that's great. All I'm going to do this time, run it straight off the mains with a 3 kilowatt element, but it just got too hot and they kept melting. Obviously being completely surrounded in sand means the heat is very, very much trapped in, and I went through all of these before managing to get a homemade coil much like this one out of Cantle A1. I wrapped it around a piece of 10mm bar, and as I say, just it's a matter of not giving it too much oomph. I think I will, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to make a refractory concrete cover for the element, so it would be a 2-part pancake thing with a serpentine groove, and I'll lay the element in there, and then I'll put the lid on another one on top, and that will at least give the element some air, albeit very hot air. But I think the sand being actually touching the element might be part of the problem, because when I took it out it was almost glassed. So Kanthal doesn't melt till 1400 degrees, and sand doesn't turn to glass till considerably higher. So I think what that's telling me is that actually around the element, if I give it full mains power, is probably getting up somewhere approaching 2000 degrees centigrade, and the heat travels quite slowly through the sand, so I need to not force feed it too much heat, otherwise the sand can't take it away quickly enough and the element melts. I do really want to not have a power supply involved, so I'm going to try and I'll buy some more wire and play with more elements. Ideally I would like to try and sink somewhere between 5 and 7 kilowatts into it, and that way I can make the most of a domestic supply and trap a lot of heat on the cheap rate and have plenty to run the house on the non-cheap rate. And it's a whole lot cheaper and less hassle